Neurodivergent folks can have sensory sensitivities that the neurotypical world sometimes label as detriments. The exception to this is, you guessed it, creative spaces. In this module, we'll celebrate our sensory sensitivities, then discuss how to use senses like touch, smell, and sound to create rituals and spaces that support our creativity. So I've got good news and I've got great news. Here's the great news. All the sensory sensitivities that people at your office, home, school, or university don't understand, they're exactly the sensitivities that will take your creative practice for the next level. For example, my neurodivergence makes me hypervigilant, which means I notice every tiny detail. Most of the time, this is totally exhausting, except when I sit down to write and everything I notice ends up on the page, giving my work a vividness neurotypical folks sometimes struggle to emulate. Here's another example. I tend to have strong emotional reactions to sensory stimuli. In the moment, this can be irritating or even painful. It's also gotten me called fragile and oversensitive more times than I'd care to admit. In contrast, when I create art, my deep connections to my emotions and my senses infuses my work with a liveliness and authenticity that neurotypical writers sometimes have trouble accessing. That's the great news. Now the good news. With a little bit of thought, your sensitivities can shape your creative space into one that really works for you. For example, I got into the habit of lighting candles when I started writing just because I knew they helped calm down my sensory overload. Now, when I smell a candle, all I can think about is writing. I've also noticed that I'm sensitive to color. Consequently, I decorate my creative spaces, which have ranged from a corner of a shared desk to an entire room in my house, with color. My last writing space was bright yellow, and just passing by it made me grin. Because I'm strongly sensitive to textures, I also have outfits I wear when I'm being creative. None of them are super elaborate. I usually wear fleece-lined sweatshirts, fuzzy slippers, and Sherpa sweatpants that keeps my texture sensitivity at bay. Although these textures don't trigger my impulse to write, they do make me feel safe and comfortable and ready to take creative risks. These could be great options if you're creating on your daily commute. Get on the subway, throw on that comfy hat, and start knitting, writing, or doodling. When you are ready to create, begin your session by rewarding yourself with sensory stimuli that make you feel happy and cozy and calm. Maybe this means lighting a candle in your kitchen or buying yourself a latte at your favorite coffee shop. Maybe you have a song you start your practice with, or maybe you throw on a scarf that you've scented with essential oils. Whatever it is, make sure that it's a sensory stimulus that is simple, accessible, and, most importantly, brings you joy. Not sure how to begin? Get out your pens because it's time for another activity. Use the chart that comes with this lesson to make a list of sensory stimulations that make you happy. You can print the chart out and write on it directly, or you can do it on a separate piece of paper or on your phone. If you get stuck, check out the back of the handout, which includes some sensory stimulation ideas to get you started. Remember that there are no right or wrong answers. Whatever makes you happy without harming you is valid. Once you've made your list, start putting some of these ideas into action. Light that candle, slip into those soft, colorful socks, and make that cup of tea. I hope that you'll find that making your senses happy will make your whole body happy, which will, in turn, kickstart your creativity.